KingOhger just ended. We have a little tradition here on the channel that we do when shows that, at least shows that I like, end, and that is we rank all the characters from that show. And KingOhger is a show I like. So right here, we're gonna do this tier list of all the characters of KingOhger. Go S, A, B, C, and F. No D's here. If you need a D, you're just an F. You're just an F. We're gonna go through this list. I'm gonna talk about all these characters. I might not know all the names. Please don't crucify me. I definitely won't know all the names because I'm already looking at it. I'm like, not who is this, but I don't have a specific name for them. So, Gira, our red/gold of the season. I would put him probably more of a gold than a red. Gira, I'm gonna put in B tier. I feel like Gira didn't hold his own a lot. He had such promise at the beginning. Fantastic actor, by the way. Great actor. He had such promise at the beginning, and then it's like he just kind of falls off. And then later on, we find out that like everything is Hercules' plan, so it makes sense why it happens. But then Gira still doesn't really do much. Still just kind of bumbles around, and he's fine. He inspires people. He inspires the story. What he like preached at the beginning of the show is what happens at the end. People were asking, do they get a new name for the country? I don't think they do. I think the ending more kind of signifies that like, oh, these borders don't actually matter. The names don't actually matter. What matters is all being one people. And I think that's what the ending really kind of shows. His actor's really good, saves it, does good in what he has, but he doesn't have a lot going for him in the season, besides just being a red/gold. But Gira's a B tier. Hercules, King Hercules, S tier, super S tier. Put him higher, put him higher, put him higher. The absolute fucking GOAT. There's just something so good about having a villain sticking around the whole season. And then there is another level of good when you can not only redeem that villain, but that villain gets fucking consequences. Hercules at the end of the show is in Gokhan prison. I know when Hercules turned good, everyone was like, oh, it's predictable. Of course it was his plan the whole time. And then the next episode, when they actually show what the plan is and how intricate it was and like what it went through. And not only that, every part that you're like, well, that fucking doesn't make sense if he was good. Why would he do that? He then admits that like, I fucked up. I got drunk with power. He is the best character in this show by far. It's to the detriment of some other characters, like Gira, honestly, because Gira can't be that like driving force a lot of the time because Hercules is already that. Duga! Duga is Gira and Hercules' right hand man. I'm gonna say something crazy here. This is how you do a clip show, guys. Does anyone remember the clip show for Duga? When he's going from kingdom to kingdom, interviewing for jobs to be someone's retainer, and then he finally goes to Gira, and Gira's like, yeah, Duga thinks he's so irredeemable because he was against Gira this whole time, and it turns out Gira was right, and then Gira accepts him back in. I love that. That's how you do a clip show. And then his ending part with this guy was just so good. The final battle where he gets to see him again, and they do the king's right hand and the left hand swords, like, oh. Character-wise, he doesn't have a ton, but I like him a lot. I think he's not, for coming in later as a retainer, when we already were attached to all the other retainers, I think he did really well to like stand up there with him. This guy, C, but I want you to know that his moments where he, in the final episodes, were immaculate. I loved every single one of them. Made me cry. Boshemir, thank you. Boshemir made me cry, and he was barely on screen for the whole fucking season. I want you to know that C tier doesn't mean anything bad. Everyone in the show is very good. This guy, I don't remember what he does besides design the final thing. I don't remember who he was in the season. No clue either. I'm gonna put him in F tier because he kind of just jumps in. He made KingOhger 0. That's what I figured when he's like, I can help with this. But then I was like, I don't remember him at all. So he's not even just the worst, he's just forgettable. Orphan Girl, B. I liked her. Orphan Girl, good. Very good. She is always like the way to keep Gira grounded when Gira starts to get a little too big-headed or like kingy or like forget what the site is. And like, she's not even in it that much. She's just a character that like, we know has this strong tie to Gira from his childhood. And she pops up and is like, hey, is this right? Are you being true to who you are? To your people? Like, she's that reminder. Her and the little boy, who I'm also gonna put up there in B tier with her, they're this reminder to Gira of what's important as a king. And I really like that because they don't switch that out with anybody. They don't make that somebody else. They're like, hey, these people are Gira's people. He was raised with these people, and they're a constant reminder of what he needs a king to be. Not only Gira's tied to the people, they are an exemplification, a symbol of Hercules' failure to his kingdom. These poor orphans who deserve a much better life are the failures of Hercules' kingdom. Kingship. Broom guy. Does anyone want to argue? Does anyone have anything else to say about Broom guy? C tier. Devonica. She's a fine character. She has a good part in the movie. She's Gira's homie. But then like that fucking endgame moment when I just jumped out of my seat. I love when they bring movies into the actual show and make it matter. Yanma Gast! Tone Boy! Hercules called everyone over to Shugadam. First episode, he said, hey, the Bugnarok are coming back. We're in fucking trouble, so I'm gonna take control of all your kingdoms. You all are gonna be a part of Shugadam, and I'm gonna protect you. Yanma Gast was the first person to tell him to go fuck himself. And he was like, I actually built all of these powers that you wanna use to control everything, so like, I'm just gonna shut it off. That was the first introduction to Yanma. He goes, I'm just gonna shut off all your power because you're a psycho. Up from there and becomes the GOAT Blue, literally the best Blue Ranger of all time. He was so good. He's a president. It showed how he like worked his way up to his country. He gave up his country for his homie slash boys love interest. I don't know. You say retainer, correct. I say boyfriend. Yanma's retainer and Yanma are like definitely boyfriends. He's gonna go in B. He's one of the better retainers. He has some of the best retainer episodes. The way he, like all the retainers do this, kind of slap their royal back into it. And like, he does it for Yanma so much. So yeah, I really like their dynamic. These guys, this team, I'm gonna put in C tier. All of them, they're fine. They're just background people in Niscopa. And they're always hacking stuff. They're always just hacking away. And that's the best I can say about them. They weren't bad. They weren't annoying. They were just fucking hacking stuff away. How many of the KingOhger do you think are gay? After that last episode, all of them. Himeno Ran, our queen of Ishibana. I have to go A or else you guys are gonna say I'm gonna sin. Which is not the meaning of this. She is the hottest KingOhger. I'm not gonna lie. But she could have had a better story. The Fear of the Gods story kind of like dropped weirdly for a little bit. I think the way that she bounced back and the way that like when her parents were around, even in the movie, when she told her parents like, hey, I have to move on and I'm the queen now. From start to finish, I think she has this great arc, this great full arc, holding on to the past so hard and wanting to rectify that, to learning how to live further and be selfish in her ways of living not only for herself, but for her people. She selfishly has to live not for herself, but for her kingdom. And I think that's really good. Sebastian, also up in A. Sebastian goes up in A. Sebastian, do you guys realize that this is like a 25-year-old man? Like, Seabass is a 25-year-old man. Does everybody remember that? Who's like this beautiful man, and Himeno's like, you're too beautiful, you need to be an old man. And he's just like, yes, my queen. And it's just continues to be a real one the entire time. The episode where Himeno's replaced and they need to choose like a husband for her is so good. It's such a shining example of like how well you can use these retainers. They don't have to be rangers, they don't have to be senshi. They could just be these supporting characters who are also very strong. These ones, I'm gonna put them in B. I like them more. I feel like I know them more than Yanma's people. If that makes sense? I've seen them a lot more than Yanma's people. even story-wise, they get a little bit more than Unanimous People everywhere. Himeno gets replaced, like they're in it a lot. Rita Kaniska, higher than Gira. I feel like they're always doing the same thing over and over again. Put them next to Himeno at least. They're just in order of when I was putting them. They're not in order of like, yeah, they have moments that are like absolutely shining. Boom, there it is. But then later we had to learn like that moment again. And I'm just like, why? Why are we doing this? Morphonia. Morphonia gets A tier as well. That's Rita's life partner. Rita's big moments are 90% tied to Morphonia, and they're amazing. They're amazing for both of them every single time. Morphonia is the one showing Rita like, hey, you don't like, before Rita was good with the KingOhgers, they were good with Morphonia. And Morphonia is that gateway for Rita to be more social with everybody. So I'll put Morphonia up there. Karas. C tier. She was fine. Her like episode that she gets is like fine. It's whatever. Muffin. Muffin is a funny meme. And that's all. Muffin's not a character. What do you want me to do? Muffin's not a character. Name a personality trait of this animal, of this squishmallow. Like, what do you want? As the absolute highest I will give them. And only because 90% of the time, Muffin is just Morphonia. Only reason. Kaguragi Deboski! The lowest rated KingOhger. I'll give you that. C tier. I like his focus episodes a lot. And even like the heel turns, I was like, haha, that's funny. But man, does he just do nothing for like a lot of the time. All he does is heel turn for Hercules when he doesn't even know why. He eats hot chip and lies. All he does is eat rice and lie. That's what I'm saying. The heel turns were annoying after the 50th time and you're like, Jesus Christ, come on. And it's like he wasn't heel turning because the same reason Hercules was, where he was like, had this big plan. He was just heel turning for this short term, like, this'll protect my country, or this'll protect my sister. Suzume, also C tier, gets really, 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 really good after the Hercules reveal episode. And I feel bad because I don't want to be like, oh, she was good after she was because of this guy, because that's not the reason. But it's so much more understandable because like he told her the plan. Kaguragi didn't know the plan, Suzume did. Faceless guy there. Kuroda goes an F tier. Kuroda's nobody and nothing. Hiroki, scene stealer. Fucking A tier, dude. Scene stealer. Every time she was on screen, it was a banger episode. No misses. No misses in Hiroki's repertoire. One of the best episodes of KingOhger is that focus episode where Deboski's like, oh, the last queen was really bad. And then she was like, actually, I fucking saved everyone. Jeremy. Yeah, never mind. I was thinking about it and I was like, later on he's not much, but then I forgot. Oh yeah, he literally had to give up everything he worked for with the Bugnarok. He had to create racism again for the betterment of the entire world. Like, Jeremy, S tier. Jeremy's great. And he's just a fire suit. Jeremy has a sick ass suit. Jeremy's bestie, B tier. I like that it was someone more connected to the Bugnarok that he had to teach. He taught Jeremy in turn as well. I thought that was really cool. All the kings have room to grow. I talk about this all the time in Tokusatsu. Too many protagonists in Tokusatsu are just 100% morals from the start all the way to the end. Just all the time. And everyone has to mold to their morals. Whereas KingOhger didn't do that. Like, even Deboski had to change his morals or learned and grew because of Hiroki. Every single one of the KingOhgers learned from the people around them and grew as a character because of the people around them or the world around them or the situation. And I think that's really cool. Nobody started at 100% and then kept 100% all the way through. They're all different people at the end of the series than they were at the beginning. Spider MILF, because I had to watch you guys say Spider MILF for the entirety she was on screen. Every single time. She goes in F tier. Don't say mommy. Stop. She's a C tier. She's a cool fighter. Her scenes were fine. I didn't like her introduction episode, honestly. I don't like what they did with her in the introduction episode, but the comeback was cool. If I'm just looking, she's definitely the lowest of the C tier. Prince. Prince is a bad actor. Can I just throw that out? Prince is the worst actor on this show by a fucking mile. It's crazy. But his episodes are really good. He is involved in one of the coolest fights with Gira that there is because they're outside. So that's cool. He's a Gotchard level actor is the perfect way to describe it. Yes, Prince is a Gotchard level actor. The scenes that he is in save him 100%. So he's gonna go B tier. High C, sorry. He's gonna go high C tier. Suzume Daboski Prince, that's what it is. Suzume Daboski Prince. Death Narok! Death Narok is a nothing bad guy until his final couple episodes, and I like that. C tier. C tier, but that's not a bad thing. He comes back and he's really cool to come back. I keep wanting to judge people on their endgame episodes, and I gotta remember their earlier episodes. He's too nothing brooding nothing in the beginning to be a B tier just because of the end. Doug Dad! B tier. He's not the perfect villain, but he's got swagger, and he's overpowered, and he is a very long villain, which I like. I like villains that stick around for a long time. And he shows up and he's just there. He's just there the whole time and drives things forward. The fact that he could just show up at the end and be like, hey, heard you were talking about me, destroy the fucking world, I think is really cool. Reinhold Hasti. B tier. Because he's cool. Because he's cool as shit. I have nothing else to say. He's cool in the movie. He's cool in the last episodes. Kame Jam! I wanted this dude to get his ass kicked so bad, and I'm so glad he did. I think he's a really good character, though. B. This dude, I wanted more from, but I'm gonna put him in C. He's not, like, great, but even just looking at him, I was like, I want more from him. Oh, the suit of the Ninja, definitely S tier. It's sick. I don't think there's anyone I wanted to die more than this girl. Hirabil is her name? I fucking hated her. Like, every time, probably like the third or fourth time she like convinced someone to do something, I was like, why aren't we caught on to this yet? So I'm gonna put her in B tier as well. Grody's his name. Grody in A tier. He drives this a very emotional story for a lot of the characters. Fantastic performance and meets a good end. I think his end is very fitting. I love that they kept him around when we went down to the underworld and he's like there. He goes crazy, but I like him. I like that he's around for a long time. I like that he has personal stake in a lot of the King-Ohgers, which some of the gestures don't have that personal stake. Like this dude, Ice Dude, I forgot his name, but he's a C tier. He's a C tier. He's just this cocoon for Doug Dead. They had to make this de-aging joke 5 times for him to be this cocoon. He reminds me of who's the Sagozo greed in O's. He is Gamel from O's, just in a different show. There is your King-Ohger tier list. A lot of S tiers. I'm gonna be honest, none of these are bad characters until we get to F. I liked all of them. I would watch all of them again. The F tier, those people can leave and never come back. Man, everyone else is like, has a special place in my heart.